Wow, what an episode. Hey guys, it's JStarSU60 here with another vlog of the Powerpuff Girls. And before we get into it, first off, I just have a couple things. One, I'm a little sick, so if I'm not that energetic, which I'm going to try to be, I'm going to try to be energetic, but if I sound a little under the weather, it's because I am under the weather. Second, these vlogs, again, I'm going to try and do them once a week. I have a busy life, so it's kind of hard to do them. I'm already putting off schoolwork as it is to do them, but so again, once a week. And also, I will be doing the Whoop-Ass vlogs on the Whoop-Ass Girls, which are like the pilot episodes that were never aired. But at the end of season 1, I want to watch the show and then see what the original idea was. So I will be doing that. And yeah, that's all I have to say. So without further ado, let's get into Octi. If you don't remember, this is our introduction to him. And in this episode, him decides to turn the Powerpuff Girls against each other. He possesses Blossom's doll, Octi, adorable name, and she tells her that Blossom shouldn't be the leader. She's not always right. Bubbles tells her that, and it just takes Buttercup and Blossom's rivalry and just amplifies it, which makes Bubbles even more upset. And then him makes Octi a giant monster, and he starts destroying the city, and the crisis brings the girls together. And I have to say, this was a really good episode. Like, as of right now, it's my favorite episode. It could change again. I'm only like 3 episodes. Well, 3 episodes in, but there's like, technically this is the 5th one I've seen since like each episode has like 2 stories in it. Now, going into this episode, I already knew who him was. I'd seen some YouTube clips. Someone did a top 10 villains, and him was on there. So I knew who him was. I wish I hadn't, because I would have been more blown away. But it still didn't stop the episode from being awesome. Because, oh my gosh, is him such a good villain. But I'll get into that a bit later. First off, let's talk about, once again, I'm amazed the narrator still finds ways to vary up his intro in the city of Townsville. Like, I wonder how many I'll be amazed if they can still keep coming up with versions of that. But enough about that. Giant monster battles in this episode, they were awesome. I don't think we've had any giant monster battles in Powerpuff Girls. But it was kind of cool, a nice nod to the old school giant monster movies, and there was some awesome action there, like some cool pre-Samurai Jack stuff. So anyway, but back to the villain, who, oh my gosh, him was such a great villain. First off, great design. I mean, clearly the devil, but you obviously can't say devil or Lucifer or whatever other names he has, because, it's a cartoon kid show. So they imply, but they don't show. Kind of like with the red guy in Cow and Chicken. And like the devil, he's trying to manipulate the girls, get them to do bad things. But yeah, awesome villain. I love his voice. Bubbles. Bubbles. Ooh, Bubbles. And I found out Tom Kane was doing the voice of him. And if you don't know Tom Kane, he voices Professor Utonium. He also voices Yoda on the Clone Wars. So, really impressive voice work. So yeah, great villain. He's a very good and very refreshing villain. Because all the villains in the past have for the most part, just used their physical strength to fight the Powerpuff Girls. And while him does that, and that's probably like the least interesting part of the episode, what I like about him is that he's fighting them psychologically. He's playing to their fears and insecurities to win. Like, for example, Blossom and Buttercup can easily get ticked off at each other, which is perfectly normal of siblings. So he basically tries to amplify that to the point where they're just out of control. And he does that through Bubbles, and I thought it was really clever. Like, first off, what a great episode for Bubbles. Like, I'm finding more and more with each episode, especially this one, that Bubbles is my favorite Powerpuff Girl. I mean, it's like our siblings are fighting and she's just crying in her room, and it's like, oh, don't you feel so sorry for Bubbles? And Tara Strong is like that adorable baby voice going. And yeah, and it's totally relatable. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone has some sort of argument in your family, and it's always unpleasant. Like, you don't want to see it. And so, yeah, you could totally relate to Bubbles. I mean, if you have siblings who fight, parents who fight, it's totally relatable. And it is upsetting. And now, him uses that to manipulate Bubbles. And what I like about him is it's having the villain manipulate the hero to do something bad. You need to be smart about how you handle it, to the point where it's not obvious they're being duped. It needs to seem believable. And I've seen some cases where it's not handled well. Revenge of the Sith, Palpatine, Anakin. It's so obvious Anakin's being duped. Minor spoilers for Season 2 of Korra. Korra being duped. It's so obvious that Unalaq is the villain. But Korra's just so stupid. Here, it makes sense for a couple of reasons. Number one, Bubbles is a little girl. She's not smart. She's not totally aware. So therefore, she's not going to pick up on, if she's being manipulated. I mean, they haven't specified the age of the girls, but they're in, kindergarten. A kindergartner isn't going to know when they're being manipulated, especially Bubbles, since of the girls, Bubbles seems to act the youngest. And, yeah, first off, and also, she was in a state where she needed some comfort. She was upset. She was crying, and Octi was telling her what she wanted to hear. And she wanted to hear how things could get better. She wanted someone who could listen to her, could sort out, because the professor, he was clearly not able to help. All he would do was just tell him to be quiet. And also, Octi is Bubbles' role model. I mean, he's her plaything. I mean, he's the thing she cuddles with every night, and, so obviously Bubbles has respect for that. And, also she was making good points. I mean, she was saying Blossom's no one was right, and, yeah, Blossom made a mistake. So, yeah, I am totally cool with the way it was manipulated. Also, love him here. I mean, Octi is so creepy. I mean, the smile, and you have that really demonic Bubbles, that voice coming out of him. So that was cool. And I love, especially when Octi gets really big and giant, he flies off. And then the fact that Bubbles has to fight him alone, it's like, oh my gosh. It's like, when that happened, I was like, yeah, Bubbles, go kick his ass. And you kind of also feel sorry for her, because she's totally underwhelmed and totally kicking his ass. I don't know, I think there's a lot of why I like Bubbles. Part of it also has to be, again, the adorable baby voice Tara Strong does for her. So yeah, there's that. And then when Octi captures Bubbles, it's like, oh no, it's helpless. And I like the way Blossom and Buttercup come together. It's like, again, first off, I like how they just don't rush in and work together. They actually do remember this heated argument they had. There's that good, 15, 20 seconds, I want to say, where they're staring each other down, which is very reminiscent of Samurai Jack. And they're staring at each other for a long time, and they don't remember. And then one smiles, and then the other smiles. Let's put this behind us. There's a crisis here. Let's deal with that. And it's totally true. Emergencies can bring people together. Which I guess is kind of ironic for him, because he both tore the girls apart and then brought them together. Same thing with Bubbles. Bubbles tore them apart and brought them together. So it's kind of interesting. And yeah, so it was a really good episode. So yeah, him, my favorite villain so far. He's awesome. I can't wait to see him again. Although I'm curious to see how they're going to top this, because it's curious as to what else you can do. Also, is Bubbles going to get a new toy because Octi got destroyed, or is she going to have a different toy? I mean, won't she be traumatized to have Octi again get a new Octi after this? And anyway, regardless, this is my favorite episode so far. Bubbles is my favorite Powerpuff Girl at this point. By the way, I'm getting used to Barkup's voice. On a side note, I couldn't really think of any word to mention this in the episode, but yeah. But what I love about Bubbles is just how she acts. She's innocent and naive, and she has the adorable baby voice. And she actually acts her age. There's this great scene where they're fighting the monster at the beginning, and Buttercup grabs one end of the three-headed monster, Blossom grabs the other, and they're stretching him out, and Blossom's like charging there. You have the action music going. It seems like she's going to deliver like the final blow, and then the action music like cuts out, and they're just playing jump rope with it. I thought that was great. But yeah, once again, great episode. Again, really starting to warm up to Bubbles. And yeah, can't wait for the next episode. This is JStars360, and I'll see you guys in the next Powerpuff Girls vlog. Until then, have a good day.